I need to do a few tweet threads. Okay, so there's this woman on Twitter, and she made a post about the issues about arranged marriages and getting with men that are 10 years or more older. And she had a whole long thread about it. But before I get to hers, I want to talk about this tweet from this woman named Kat. And she is focusing on India and how Indian women do way more housework than Indian men. She gave us this graph, but her caption is, it's the same everywhere as far as women doing more work, more housework than men. But women in India have it particularly tough. Men complaining in the comments. How about an experiment? They're not going to do this experiment. Block out 2 to 5 hours of your day every day for a year. Say and see how well you get on at work and how much energy you have for other tasks. And then she gave us this graph. This graph is showing how much more work per day women do versus the men in the home. Okay, so the purple dots are the women, the yellow dots are the men. Indian women spend a staggering almost 6 hours on unpaid care work daily compared to the men, the Indian men, less than an hour in India. But the Indian men are not the worst. In Korea, they're a little bit less at 0.82 of an hour. In Japan, even less at 0.68. So not even an hour, men in these countries. But look how many more hours per day the Indian women have to spend. And yeah, that is pretty high. That's almost six. But we got 5.5 hours with Mexico and Portugal. Turkish women at 5 hours of unpaid labor. But obviously, all of these places, the women are outdoing the men. But down here towards the bottom, it looks like the men are at least participating a little bit. United States, men in the United States, almost 3 hours, whereas the women in the United States, almost 5 hours. Is there any wonder why women are opting out of marriage in places where they can? In places like India and other places that have arranged marriages, women might not have the option of opting out, or if they can't get jobs because they are oppressed, they have to connect with these men. But this puts it in plain view. Men definitely benefit from women's labor. Men definitely benefit from marriage. So, and once again, Indian women almost 6 hours, Indian men less than an hour. So almost 6 times more work per day unpaid. And here's an article that came out in March 2024. Indian women do domestic chores 10 times more than men. Indian women work 10 times more than men on unpaid domestic chores and caregiving compared to their counterparts in other parts of the world, a study has revealed. However, educated women are better placed in workload management, according to research conducted by the International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai, and Tata Institute of Social Sciences, confirming that married Indian women bear a disproportionate burden, almost double, of unpaid work compared to their unmarried counterparts. It is said that women from upper caste Hindu, Muslim, and Sikh women put in the most hours in unpaid domestic work. Women worldwide spend 3 times more time on unpaid domestic and care work than men, but in India, women spend almost 10 times more time than men. Like I said, men act like men don't benefit from marriage. They really do. And the data bears that out. Now I want to go back to Nandu. She was the original tweet that person used to put that graph up. And she has like a thread. She says, one problem with the usual age gap in old arranged marriages. My dad is in his 80s and can't travel much. My mom is in her 70s and wants to see the world, but can't leave Appa alone because he needs help because he's in his 80s and not as independent as he was in his 70s when he traveled to wherever he wanted to go with my mom, helping him by his side as his packer, washer, ironer, organizer, budget keeper, kids caregiver, etc. Because women do all of this stuff. She never gets to see his caregiving side. It was Amma who had to take care of Appa's mom in her last days. What a lopsided deal. Worst is when Appa is resistant to people taking care of him, not understanding that refusing care that is needed could hurt him too. I once told him he doesn't know anything about caregiving or accepting care because he has never had to take care of a single person in his life. He was so bewildered to hear that. It had never struck him to think of it like that. But it is true. Day to day caregiving and the acceptance of care and the understanding of what accepting or rejecting care costs the people around you seem to be out of syllabus for a lot of men. In their heads, they are the providers, even though my mom was a working woman who earned as much as him. And care is a question of their image and their dignity, not an unselfish thought in their head. Means very selfishly, they think they are unselfish and expect their dues. My challenge these days is to empower Amma to live her life the way she wants while figuring out how to keep Appa going. Also, very interesting how gendered caregiving needs are in traditional setup. For men, apparently, caregiving needs to involve regular masseur for ego. My advice to men, just try to be aware of the ways you may be inconveniencing your family living the way you are. My dad isn't actively bothering my mom, at least in this travel example, but he doesn't see the odds are stacked against my mom in some ways. The fact that he's blissfully unaware makes him think he is selfless, and that the status quo is good. This is inconsiderate, especially when women are conditioned to live in a way that puts their spouse's welfare ahead of theirs. Just pull your heads out of your behinds, men. Be considerate. As rough analogy, I offer you a man walking alone at night. He walks unaware that he is a threat. He has no concern how he is perceived and consequently has no incentive to change his behavior. He occupies space with abandon, and his lack of consideration makes him inconsiderate. Consider the woman walking alone at night. She is acutely aware of how she may be perceived. Consequently, she changes her behavior. She shrinks, hurries up. She has heightened awareness. They occupy the same road, yet the experiences are very different. Same with some marriages. The precarity dominance of one's presence in a space can have an impact on how aware and adaptable the other person is and needs to be. Some men don't even know their existence causes other lives and worlds to shrink. Be better. Know what impact you have on those around you. Will they figure it out? Do they care? Absolutely not, because they haven't been made to care. Their lives are made easier by women daily, and women have got to pull back in order for them to kind of understand what women go through. But we haven't reached a point where women everywhere have pulled back just yet. But lots of younger women are starting to pull back, and and they are going to feel it soon. The younger ones are going to feel it and start failing and flailing even more. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think about these two tweet threads. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Woo, y'all. Woo. Men's egos is going to be one of the issues that help fuel this male loneliness crisis. All right, let's look at this tweet. This person says, my friend got engaged in May this year, and their traditional wedding was meant to be in November. She called me yesterday in tears to tell me the engagement had been called off. She got a new job last month, and the salary is so huge that she will earn 3 times more than the guy. He was uncomfortable with it and asked her to reject it or the engagement would be called off. He said she won't respect him if she earns that much. All efforts to convince him proved ineffective, and she agreed to call the engagement off. I can't believe this is happening in 2024. Why can't you? Has there been something where men's egos have been called into question, where men are simply trying to understand that they are supposed to be a partner, not supposed to just be, that they're supposed to be more than a provider? Has something clicked? Because I haven't seen it. Uh, but you guys will have to let me know. This is going to keep men down because women are outpacing men in college. We're pulling off the oppression of the patriarchy and getting into more job opportunities. And the money is about to start flowing. It's flowing some, but this is about to happen where women are going to be earning more, and men are going to have to find their purpose outside of simply being the providers. They're going to have to be partners. They're going to have to participate in the house, as far as chores and working with their kids and doing things with their kids and being caretakers. They're going to have to find some other purpose other than simply money and paying some bills. In Bad Politics says she should be happy she dodged a bullet because any partner that's not happy for your growth is an enemy. A lot of women are simply sleeping with the ops. Star BD says, yeah, but it's not that easy. She loves him. And Bad Politics says, I get that. I get that, but she should focus on this point and it will help her heal from the experience. I have an auntie that married a guy like this, and it was the biggest mistake of her life. Partners like this can even harm you. Trust me, is nothing but witchcraft. And remember that the women from the Olympics that were harmed or unalived by men that they were intimate with, it happens. So women have got to really be prepared for the envy and the jealousy that comes simply by making more money that could make the house comfortable, open opportunities for their children. But no, men's egos are too much to accept the gifts that come with this extra money. It's so wild. Phil says, boss, this is not about the job. He is a true man who God saves. That guy has seen the future, and God brought that test before him to see what he intends to marry. A man should be 5 steps ahead of his wife, a leader, provider, and protector, and not the opposite. So, like I said, these men are going to be stuck right here. God is the one that opened his eyes that he had to leave this woman. He needed to be separated from this woman who is making too much money, because having too much money is a bad thing. This person says, LOL, you don't know this life. My dear, the man will be better off too. He still find another good woman to love. Okay, he's going to go out and find another woman. Lala says she had an op, not a teammate. He did her a favor. See, you see the difference in where women are versus the men. Abby, a woman. God forbid you marry an enemy in the form of a husband. Men who do this deserve women who use them properly, since they don't know the difference between respect and I'll do what you say because you're my cash cow. It's all about controlling women for these lots. Yep. So it's like either you're going to work with somebody, be a teammate, be a partner, or simply be used, but then whine about the gold diggers. So Star BD says ego, but Dat NATO says, are we talking about pride here or the Igbo form of money? I mean, both would be correct. I just want to confirm. I don't know what ego is in Igbo, but somebody else can weigh in if you know what they mean. All right, y'all. So remember, some women are sleeping with the ops. I guess women have to shirk themselves. They have to step back. They have to shine a little bit less so that the men can shine more. And that's going to be the only way to make sure that these men are happy. Hopefully, these men just, find that woman who is perfectly fine for using them for their money. And the women who want to create community with other women or find an actual partner can find those people as well. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Just yesterday, I shared this woman's post from the mildly infuriating subreddit. She says, spent 2.5 hours making a beautiful apple pie. This is what my husband and sons left me. We were all more than mildly infuriated. Many of us were wildly enraged. This definitely got the people talking on both my TikTok page and my YouTube pages. She gave us an update in the comments. She said, my eldest confessed. He ate more than half. My husband and youngest had reasonable slices. He's taken responsibility and gathering fruit for another pie. I made the pie late in the evening and my husband let me sleep in. They ate it for breakfast and my eldest went back for seconds and thirds. This person said over half a pie in one evening. Oh my word. She said, nope, one morning. I think because he just ate it instead of breakfast. So I'm not sure if this is the mom not teaching the son how to be inconsiderate, but she slept in and he waxed it. So that's what happened. I was showing my daughter this plate and I told her what happened. My daughter is 7. I said, the mom spent 2.5 hours making this pie and her family left her this amount. And she was looking at me and she was like, but that's not fair. And my daughter is 7 years old. The boy that finished this off is a teenager. You cannot you cannot make me believe that you have to specifically spell out, don't eat the pie, save mom some. You can't make me believe that you have to spell it out, that you have to write out notes. Some people are just not mannerable. Some people just don't respect the women in their lives. They see these people, they see the women in their lives as servants. And that's what I believe has happened. And hopefully this changes for this family and this family dynamic. But I do believe that even children, even young children, understand what's fair versus what's not fair. But you guys can go ahead and weigh in. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.